If you ever thought, why can't I just stick to a routine? I want you to hear me loud and clear. It's not because you're lazy, it's not because you're broken, and no, it's not because you lack discipline. The truth is, discipline is a result and not a requirement. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why your consistency struggles have nothing to do with willpower and how you can finally break the cycle. You're not the only one feeling this way, and you're definitely not the only one who's been blamed for it. I've seen the same cycle with so many of my clients, and if you're nodding along already, you're exactly who this video is made for. Let me paint the scene for you. You start your week with the best intentions. You write your to-do list, maybe it's color-coded. You prep your meals, set alarms to wake up early, and promise this is the week you're finally gonna get it together. But by Wednesday, you're exhausted, work is chaotic, your energy is drained, you missed one habit, and now the spiral starts. Why can't I just follow through? Why do I always have to end up back where I started? You feel behind, like everyone else has it figured out, and you're stuck watching your potential from the sidelines. I've seen the same cycle, not just in myself, but in so many of my clients, ambitious, high potential women who genuinely want to show up for themselves, but who keep getting stuck in this loop of start strong, fall off, blame themselves. You're not alone, and you're not the problem. If that sounds like you, welcome, you're in the right place. The toxic myth of discipline. Here's what most people believe. Discipline equals pushing through, motivation equals the key to showing up, and falling off equals personal failure. But here's the truth. Discipline isn't the cause of consistency. It's the result of systems that actually work for you. And motivation, that's a mood, not a strategy. This old narrative, just try harder, is toxic. It shames you for something that was never your fault. Because most people aren't inconsistent, they're just unaligned. So what's actually going wrong? Let's take a moment and zoom out. What you're calling inconsistency is actually a mismatch between your goals and your energy, an identity conflict. You want to be that girl, but you feel like an imposter, or environmental triggers that keep you in old habit loops. You might wake up with ambition, but by 2 p.m. you're drained, second-guessing every move. You want to eat clean, move your body, journal, and grow, but in real life, you're skipping meals, binge-watching something to numb out, and wondering why it feels so hard to show up. This isn't because you're lazy. It's because your system is still wired for survival and not for self-trust. You don't need a prettier planner. You need to understand your inner operating system, subconscious patterns, thoughts, and environment. Here's one example. If you always end up scrolling at night instead of journaling, that's not laziness. That's a cue reward loop that your brain links to survival because of neurons that were wired that way due to the amount of times you reinforce that habit. This shift from forcing habits to designing aligned ones is one of the biggest breakthroughs my students have inside Rewired. Kayla said that the program helped her rewire the habits and thoughts that were holding her back, and instead build new ones that align with the life she knows she's meant to live. We don't just track habits, we rewire your identity, mindset, and systems. If you've never had a structure that truly fits you, that's exactly what we build inside Rewired. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my personal turning point because there was a time that I was trying to force myself to being this perfect, aesthetic, always on version of that girl. You know, the disciplined, aesthetic, got her shit together girl who had her life just figured out. I followed routines that weren't mine, downloaded the planners, did the Sunday resets, but every time I couldn't keep up, it felt personal, like I was the problem, that I couldn't figure something out. Like there was something missing. And eventually I got burnt out. Last year, I went through a very hard low point in my journey. I was quietly burnt out, and then something shifted during my yoga teacher training in India. I went to India for a month, and in the middle of all that, the simplicity, slowness, and spiritual reflection, it hit me. What if I'm not supposed to force discipline? What if I need to rebuild from who I actually am? That shift changed everything because I started building routines around my energy levels, my emotional needs, my actual goals, not the ones that I borrowed. I tracked my patterns, not just habits, and consistency, it started just showing up, not as a punishment, but as a byproduct of changing my systems. What actually works? Internal alignment. Here's the 3-part framework I use and teach inside Rewired. Number 1 is mindset reframing, catching your inner critic to build self-trust. Number 2, habit loops plus identity work to replace unconscious patterns with structure that actually fits. And number 3, environmental upgrades, shaping your world to support a version of you you're becoming. When these 3 align, discipline becomes effortless because you stop swimming upstream and you stop starting over and you start living like someone who trusts themselves. So here's what I want to leave you with. You're not bad at habits. You're not a procrastinator. You're not undisciplined. You're just a high potential woman living with systems that reward burnout and shames your softness. And Rewired is about giving you permission to opt out of that and rebuild something grounded in actual alignment. You've just never been taught how to rewire your system from the inside out. And once you do, everything starts to change. This isn't about becoming someone else, following someone else's routine. This is about becoming someone who finally feels safe enough to follow through. Like I said in the beginning, if you're done with starting over every Monday, and if you're ready to finally rebuild your routines and mindset from the inside out, Rewired was made for you. Inside Rewired, you'll get a lifetime access to the full 6-week framework that I've used for myself and my clients, and you'll learn how to reprogram your self-talk, break old habit loops, and build systems that support you, not shame you, because we work from love. So just check out the link below if that's something you're interested in. Let's rewire your story together, because discipline isn't the goal, alignment is, and consistency just comes with that. I just want to remind you guys to remember to breathe deeply and live mindfully. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.